Alright guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm breaking down the two trades I took on TQs and SQs today. Both just basically NASDAQ, QQQ, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to break down why I took them, and then what went wrong on the first trade, and then what went right on the second trade. So, first trade, breaking down the first trade. I've been using the 2 minute. I've also been using the 1 minute as well, so it just kind of depends. Whatever's been, kind of working. But we got confirmation on the 1 minute and on the 2 minute, so on both of them. So regardless, it doesn't even matter. Like they're both pretty similar. But if you look here on QQQ, first of all, top and bottom, we had the 15-minute opening range here, right? That was the top. This was the bottom. The two dashed orange lines. And then if we look over here, we had this rejection down here. We had a close below it. And then we came back up into what looks to be this 2 minute fair value gap right here. Boom. Little 2 minute fair value gap. Waited for this 2 minute candle to close. Look how bearish that looked. Beautiful. Closed down here. Started moving down. Red arrow is my entry. Purple arrows were my exits. So first entry was down here. All I did was expect it to basically go out, and I wanted it to take those lows down at the bottom. So if I show you here, if I zoom out on the 2 minute, I wanted to take this low from pre-market. Now, obviously it never did. And then possibly this low, maybe that low. But it never did that, obviously. We had this 2 minute bearish fair value gap, massive one right here. Reject, I entered, and we started to bounce. As soon as we started to bounce, keep in mind this is right before news. So right before news, I was like, all right, I'm going to get out half because I don't want news to absolutely destroy me. So I got out half, right? And then the other half of my position, I just sold at the break above this high. So it was a $40 loss, or a $43 loss technically on the day. And, it is what it is. I was just kind of too early to that move down, and it wasn't the best entry. To me, it looked beautiful. Look, we started respecting this 2 minute fair value gap. We were closing below these EMAs on the 2 minute. We had liquidity at the bottom. Everything lined up perfectly, but we had news come out, so it was a little bit riskier. Obviously, as you can see, after that, we pushed up to the top of the range, took the top of the range, folded over. We've just been kind of chopping. So I waited. Later in the day, took another trade. We can see right here. Dang, bro, I could still be in this too. I'm so mad. Every time I get out of this, every time I get out of something, it just decides to run. So I tried to keep a runner, right? I sold here. I kept a runner, and I was like, all right, that's probably where it's going to stop, right? Because we turned around. No. Oh, it is what it is. But basically, came down here. We got support off of this. I was like, dude, I don't want to take this. We're definitely not running back up to this, to that high after just rebalancing pretty much just within this range. So I was like, I don't even want to take this. It's still within the 15-minute range. Hasn't broken out. Hasn't come down to this area, for example, right? Because if I took this in this area, I'd have to have my stop loss down here, which is way too far I'd be risking this much, right? To make this much. So it's like a 1-to-1, and the 1-to-1 is massive. So I would have taken a massive loss, right? Just to make something out of it. So I waited. We got the bounce. We created a lower high. I'm still not bearish on the day. It doesn't really mean anything, because if you go on the 5 minute here and we zoom out more, we're still within a choppy range. So I'm not bearish. It doesn't matter that we close down here. We could just be sweeping liquidity and pushing to the upside. That was my overall thesis, was, hey, this move down, sweeping liquidity, and we're probably just going to continue push up. That's all. That's literally what's happening right now. But with that being said, I was a little bit more bullish than bearish on the day. So zooming back in here, red arrows are my entries, purple arrows are my exits. So red entry right here. We're on the 2 minute. I entered on the 1 minute. So same thing, and I saw this multiple times yesterday, or day before yesterday, whatever. Pretty much all this week. Every time we've been ranging, we came back into, so we made this low, we came back into this low, and once we started to break structure back to the upside, so all these little highs right here, we closed above them on the 1 minute. We started closing above the EMAs, And then we also closed above this 1 minute fair value gap. You can barely see it on this candle, this 1 minute fair value gap, and there's like a tiny one right there. We closed above that, and then we retest the EMAs, and it happens like super quick. So what I did was, once I saw that close and we started to push, I just entered, set my stop loss below this candle right here. And I'm telling you, if you set your stop loss right below this, it doesn't matter. Look, it's pulling back and it's not going to stop you out. If you want to be a little bit, have a wider stop, you can put it at the bottom of this. But once you get that inverse on the 1 minute and it's a range day, right, then it's going to flip. It's going to flip up here. It'll close above the EMAs and the fair value gaps, these 1 minute fair value gaps over here. And then it'll pull back to the EMAs, confirm, start pushing up. You'll have this little pullback right in here because it's got to rebalance somewhat because we haven't really pulled back past this. So I held through this. Stop loss, like I said, was below this candle right here. Bounced here, right? I was getting a little bit scared right here. I thought it was going to go down and stop me out, but immediately after we went down here, buyers stepped back in. And then take profit on this one was right above. It was right above this high, and then the other one was right above this high. And I took one right here as we started to break above, and then the other one I took it right here as we started to break above there. So sold half here, sold half here. So yeah, those are the 2 trades for the day. This second trade, I don't have my calculator with me, but I'll have to look at my phone. But I was down 43, now I'm up 92. So whatever that is, I don't know, 130 or what is that, 140 something, 137, I want to say. Like $130 something gain on the second trade. So pretty good. Overall green on the day, kept the loss super small right here, right? And then came back and just held the winner a little bit longer. Overall, solid day. Thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully you learned something from this and can apply it to your own trading. Just some simple like range day stuff. Wait for the low of this of the range for the day. Wait for the high of the range for the day if you're going to try to take puts up here, calls down here. Don't get stuck in the middle. Everything in the middle is basically noise. Obviously, I took this in the middle, but I didn't know that it was going to be a range day. I thought this was going to be a continuation down. So, my mistake. But overall, waited it out. Found the bottom for the day, or not the bottom for the day, but the bottom of the range for the day. Took that, used it to my advantage, and made a green trade. So, see you guys in the next video.